Now can you hear me? Is that better? Someone tell me yes or no. I think I had the mute button on the microphone. So, all right, let's start this whole thing over. Let's pretend we'll go back out. Watch this. Oh, hi, everybody. Welcome to the weekly update. This is C.T. Harris coming to you live from the FPC studio. I am going to rip through this a little faster now. Hopefully you guys can hear me. It looks like my levels are up. I did not know there was a little mute button on the top of that thing, so we will go through this really quickly. Neil and Shar are both out of town on vacation. Neil's back on Friday, and will be leading worship on Sunday. Masks are still required in the building. Session will reassess that issue in March. Ash Wednesday ashes are available in the office. If you'd like to order them and have them mailed to your house, you can do that. Care kits are available in the Red Hall, and we are assisting the White Bear Lake Food Shelf by collecting disposable diapers size 5 and 6 and baby wipes over the next couple of weeks. You can bring your donations into worship on February 20 or 27. We will collect and display them during worship. So again, sorry about the technological issues going on all day. I'm in a flop sweat right now because this hasn't gone well, and it's so hot in this room. So if I perspire freely, please take that into account and have some grace for me. So a few prayer requests to share with you for the week. Jim Smith is in our memory care at Keystone and Hugo. Pray for him as he adjusts to that. Please pray for June as well, as she's going to remain in the Arbors and have some adjustments to make living apart from Jim. Sue Hunt's brother, Bill Cleary, did pass away on Monday the 7th, surrounded by his family. So please pray for blessings to the Hunt family. Bill Fairman has moved to Encore. He is cared for and comfortable. Please continue prayers for Bill and the families. This has been rough on all of them. Eric Esserly's mom, pray for relief from the day-to-day pain. Prays that she has found good doctors who are helping her heal little by little. Please pray for Erica and Jennifer Knorr as their family is visiting family and friends in Cameroon, and continue to pray for Cameroon as well. For David Mork, battling colon cancer, and Andrea Esterly's mom, also having completed her cancer treatments but still doing maintenance. Please pray for both of them. So now it sounds like people can hear me, so I very much appreciate the feedback. Thank you for the texts. And this is going to be both a longer and a shorter weekly update at the same time, if that's even possible. So as you can see by what I'm wearing here, it is baseball season, and I am coaching for the 6th year at Anoka Ramsey Community College. I think overall it's the 20th year that I've been coaching, and I almost didn't go back this year. It was a really hard decision. I love coaching, I love baseball, but the time demand has gotten really hard. Just for fun, or maybe it was torture, I added up all the hours that I spend coaching college baseball, and it turns out to be about 1,000 a year. Sometimes a little bit less than that, but about 1,000. And I won't tell you my salary, but let's just say I make between $3 and $4 an hour for those 1,000 hours. Some other things that are hard is it's just a lot of time away from my family, from Kayla and the kids. It means I have to juggle a lot of different things at once. I often have to miss games because they're on Wednesday nights or sometimes Sundays. Or if I go to them, I have to either stay for one or I have to drive separate. Speaking of driving, it's 30 miles from my house to Anoka Ramsey Community College. All the other coaches live right around there, and so every time we have a practice, I have to drive an extra 30 miles. It's just a lot. And this is the first year I just haven't had that joy. I haven't had that desire to go back. And so I really wrestled with the decision. And I got to a point about 2 weeks before where I just had to decide. I wasn't sure. And Coach Jason called me and he said, "You coming back or not?" And just in that moment, I don't know if it was out of loyalty to him or because I wanted to coach again, I said, "Yeah, I'm going to give this one more year." Most of you know that Kayla and I are expecting a baby in July, and we're very excited about it. It's hard to say without grinning when I say that, which is weird because I'm old and I'm going to be very tired, but I'm excited about that. And so up until that point, I feel like I can probably manage this one more year. So I said yes. And the first couple of weeks were hard. We have a couple of 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. practices, and practice always runs long, so that has meant I'm leaving my house at 8:15, and I'm not getting home till midnight. And it's just been It's been kind of a grind. And so even in that first couple weeks, I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to do this or not. And one day after practice, one of our new young men that we have on the team this year that used to play a larger program and now plays or came to join us, said, "Can I talk to you after practice, coach?" And I always say yes in those instances because that's what a coach does. And so I said yes, and he pulled me aside and very nicely said, "This Monday night practice, because I have a Tuesday class and I have to get a certain grade in this class, it's really affecting my grade. Is there something we can do?" And so I gave the young man permission to take Mondays off, and we put some extra time in on Sunday nights. Be fine. The next day, he sent me a text and said, "Can I talk to you after practice again?" And so we talked, and he was asking me some career advice and some things that he should think about. And 2 more days went by, and then he sent me another text and said, "Coach, can I talk to you again after practice?" And so finally this third time, as we're sitting there, I won't tell you the young man's name, but I just said, "Are you okay? Like, I love meeting with students, but I don't usually do it 3 times in the span of 4 days." He's like, "I'm sorry, Coach. I'm sorry if this is out of line." I said, "No, not at all. I'm not saying it's out of line. I just want to know if you're okay." And he said something really disturbing. He said, "This is the first time I can remember having an adult that cared about me." Now, this is not a really dramatic young man. In fact, seems very well put together. Like he's got things figured out. He's strong. He's a nice-looking kid. He does well in school. And so we started to sort of process that a little bit. And he told me his dad had been very abusive growing up. And so his dad was out of his life for a long time, but now is back and sort of just asking him for money. And his mom left because his dad was abusive and has sort of just checked out on the family. And his sister moved away and doesn't speak to anyone. And his coaches at his old schools just wanted him to play baseball. They didn't want to get involved in his life. And it just breaks my heart. And at that moment, I kind of realized something, that maybe God put me in this coaching thing that I wasn't sure I wanted to do this year, not because of me, but because I was supposed to be there for somebody else. And Kayla said to me the other night, she's like, "You're like the surrogate dad for this guy." I'm like, I might be. But if he can understand that an adult cares about him, another adult cares about him, maybe that's worth it. There's a verse in John 15:16 that says, it's about Jesus basically, "But you did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit that will last." And so as I read that verse, I think maybe this year for coaching, I didn't choose it. Maybe God chose it because there was a young man that was in crisis, a young man that needed confidence, a young man that needed somebody to show him that he was loved and cared for, and it didn't really matter if he was the best baseball player or the worst baseball player, he just mattered. And so my thought for the day is just to kind of challenge all of us to say, are we putting ourselves out there to do the things because we want to do them, or are we open to saying, "God, what is it that you are choosing me for?" I like thinking about it that way, because then when I take out like sort of what I want or don't want, and that's how we all tend to live our lives, right? But when I sort of step back and say, "Okay, Lord, if you have a spot for me, even if I don't really know if I want that spot right now, I'll go, I'll do it." And in this case, I wasn't even thinking that, right? It just happened. And that's also the cool thing about God, is sometimes he does things in spite of us, not because of us. But I do think that in that verse, John is saying, God chose us. We don't always get to choose what we do for God. God is sometimes saying, "I'm choosing you to do this and to bear fruit, and fruit that will last." That's my hope for myself this year for coaching, that it just bears fruit, not because of wins and losses, but just because of people who need to be shown love. And maybe that can be my hope for all of us too, that we just find areas where we can be God's hands and feet in a world that desperately needs the love and the care and the hands and feet of the Lord. So that's my thought for this week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, I'm so sorry for all the technological challenges. Maybe Neil can edit this up and make it shorter than it was when I was talking without a microphone, and maybe he can make me look less shiny, but I doubt that. So, Neil, hurry back soon. Shara, safe travels, and to all of you, I love you, thinking of you always, and you're a blessing to me and my family. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.